Welcome into the Box Score Basketball Edition, Week 2, and we've got several games starting to take place. Very few district games. Most people don't play district till the first year. But Justin Mauldin, welcome in.
Glad to be here, Terry. Glad to be back.
I know that when you look at some of these games that we have been able to look at, and I know there's DTC games rolling, and you can go to the website in order to see that. I know a lot of people are excited about seeing our 5 area teams.
Listen, we've got a lot of quality basketball, and listen, we do football, but football's done. Everybody's minds have changed, transitioned. We're ready for basketball. Everybody's ready to be in the gym. And if you can't make it into the gym, go to DTC 3 and check out these games and watch these replays throughout the season.
Let's start with the first featured game, and that's going to be the Battle of Smith County as the Tigers and the Owls got together last Friday night. Smith County got a huge game from the freshman Emory Jones, 21 points, 9 out of 10 from the floor. Claude Collins, a big game as well, 17 points. And Justin, it was like 13-10 after the first quarter. I thought we were going to have a close ball game, and then the Lady Owls scored 50 points in the middle 2 quarters. Yeah,
no, I don't know what Coach Farrell told them. If he gave them some Wheaties in that first intermission, I have no idea. You talking about Emory Jones was 9 of 10. I think Chloe was 7 of 9,
right,
too. So, I mean, just between those two, very efficient productivity. And when a single player shooting that well is difficult, when you got multiple people, you better watch out.
Right. Gordonsville was led by Mackenzie Herron. She had a good game for the Tigerettes as well. Let's go ahead and look at the boys' game. It was, I thought, going to be a Gordonsville blowout. They were up 30-12 there in the second quarter as Jay Foster had 19 first half points as Gordonsville had 34-20 at halftime. But the Owls come back. The game was tied 44-44 with 1:38 to go in the game. But Smith County scores the last 6 points of the game. That first 2 was a backdoor cut to Clayton Rigsby, who hit a layup. And the Owls on the road, of course, they lost both those games to Gordonsville a year ago. They get the 50-44 win. Rigsby had 19, Peyton Hicks 13. Jay Foster had 20 points, and of course 19 of those was in the first half. But the Owls get a big road victory.
Super duper impressed on the road, in the jungle, holding them to 10 points in that second half and not surrendering. And like you said, making up for last year and where they were. That was great effort, great heart by them to, it would have been easy for them to sit back and say, hey, this is a difficult environment. We'll go ahead and we'll wait for the next one and get them. But that wasn't the attitude that they had.
It was 18 there and then 14 at half. But then the second half, I thought a key, Justin, was how the freshman Tyler Jones guarded Jay Foster, and Jay didn't get a lot of open looks there in the second half.
Yeah, and Jay is an athlete. It doesn't matter if it's on the football field, it's on the basketball court, it's on the diamond. That kid, if it involves a ball or any type of sports, he's an athlete. And you need a shutdown defender, and you can't let him be open, or he'll take advantage of it. We see, you'll see he shoots effective from the outside, but he can create too. With that, so you can't give him any space. So no, very good job by the freshman in guarding him that night.
Gordonsville's girls scores, we'll take a look at those. Brought to you by Sonic of Carthage. Got the Smith County win over Gordonsville, and then Jackson County beat Gordonsville 60-41 as the Tigerettes fall to 1-6. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores from inside District 7A. Last Friday night, Cumberland County beat Pickett County in a close one, 55-52. Livingston Academy at Clark Range narrowly wins 59-58 after beating them 5 or 6 points back during the Hall of Fame games played there at Clark Range. Red Orange Springs gets the win over Trouser County 60-43. Then on Tuesday night, you had Stone Memorial beating Clark Range, a little more one-sided than I thought, and then York beats Clay County. Justin, anything jump out to you there?
Looking at that, you may see, all these 7A teams are losing, but you see who they're playing. And, when you're playing 7 AAA teams and you're playing these 5 AA teams and you're playing York Institute, those are all quality competition. None of these teams are afraid to play good competition, and that's going to help them. District 7A, when it comes to the postseason and it comes to region play, you're probably going to see a sweep in region play of District 7A because of how well equipped that these teams are. And, it's still early on. They're still getting their legs under them. But I expect big things from this district throughout the season.
Let's go ahead and look at some Gordonsville boys. Sonic of Carthage scores. Of course, they had a 6-point loss to the Owls, and then they rebounded last night nicely, going on the road to Gainsborough and winning 61-40 to improve to 5-1 under Greg Bibb. Let's go ahead and look at some other District 7A Sonic of Carthage boys scores. Pickett County gets the win over a much larger school in Cumberland County. Red Bowling Springs beats Trousdale. In a shootout, Clark Range beats Jellicoe 91-82. I saw Jellicoe and University School of Jackson play up at Byrdstown, and there was 181 or 2 points scored in that game. Of course, it did go in overtime, but that's fun to watch. And then you got York with a big win over Clay County. Let's go ahead and flip the page and let's go to the Cannon County girls scores. Ashley Patrick going to be with us a little bit later in the show. They're playing an awfully tough competition. They beat Warren County by 20, 57-37, and then at home on Tuesday night, they lost to her former coach, Michael Dodgen, 53-47.
Yeah, and we'll talk with her a little bit, but that's the closest game White County's had all season. They're 8-0. Their first game was a 10-point game. That's the second closest game that anybody's had against them all season. So while they did take the loss in those two games, that's a very high-quality Warriors team in Sparta there that they're going against, and so they need to hold their heads up high as well as they played against them.
Of course, Smith County opened the season with White County. Let's go ahead and look at some scores from inside, and it's hard for me to say District 9 AA because last year they were in 6 AA. This year Smith County's in 5 AA, but they're in 9 AA as Cannon County, so they're going kind of south and west as Moore County beats Cascade, Grundy over Bledsoe, and Cornersville Community. And I'll be honest with you, Justin, we don't know much about those teams because we don't see those teams.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit and before the show. Out of all those teams, the only one of those teams that I've seen play recently is Community when we watched the region game there that they hosted against Smith County, but don't know too much about them. They're looking at their schedules. It looks like that's going to be a pretty tough district. I think Cannon County will be the favorite in that district still, but there won't be no rollover pushovers in that district.
Right. Of course, Community went all the way to the state tournament after beating Smith County in overtime in the sub-state. Cannon County boys scores. Sonic of Carthage. Warren County beats the Lions by 3, and then Cannon gets a big win over White County. White County at times has struggled. They really struggled in the game with Smith County. Smith County had a double-digit lead in the first half before being outscored big time in the second half, but Cannon County sat there at 6-3. Let's go ahead and look at some 9 AA boys scores. Cascade over Moore County. Community beats Cornersville. Bledsoe over Grundy in a close one, and Fayetteville beats Forest. So, like you said, Justin, we're not familiar with these teams. We'll just have to kind of gauge their scores and see how that comes out. We'll check out our other area schools when we return to the box score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone, backed by local support.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade your internet package. Enjoy internet speed that can keep up with all you do.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Justin Mauldin. And Justin, when you look, you know, we're getting an actual chance to see a lot of these teams play for the first time. And some have been impressive, and some of them maybe hadn't played as well as we thought they were or would. But still, when you look at it, you know, it's good to be getting in the gym and watching these teams play for the first time.
Yeah, no, listen, these teams, especially on the boys' side, are still pretty fresh with some of their players coming off of football. You know, so it takes some time to get back into it. And then, listen, you can prepare and you can prep and you can run through scrimmages, but until you get into the gym and to live game action that matters and actually counts towards your record, it's a little bit of a different ball game than, you know, those practices and those scrimmages. So it's still early on for these teams. I expect a lot of growth, a lot of development, especially a lot of our teams across got a lot of young people that are going to need to mature and get a little bit better grasp and understanding. But I look for things to improve for a lot of our teams.
You know, Justin, when you look, these coaches right now really are just trying to find the rotation. They want to see who they can count on, because most of them, when you flip the 1st of January, that's when you get into hardcore district play. And they really need to know who they can count on and who they can't. So they're really just setting a rotation right now in the pre-Christmas schedule.
Yeah, we've got a couple teams who, talking to the coaches, are sending me alternating rosters because they don't have enough jerseys to dress all their players out, and they're still trying to figure out who their depth guys are going to be and who's going to see some court time because it is so early in the season. So you're exactly spot on with that.
Let's go ahead and look at the Gordonsville girls scores, brought to you by Sonic of Carthage. Of course, you start with DeKalb County there. They, I said Gordonsville, I meant DeKalb. They beat Watertown 44-37 and then lost to Smith County 67-44. The Lady Owls hit 12 threes, a game that you and I saw, Justin, and Marissa Spivey had the hot hand. Smith County hit 7 of their first 8 three-pointers that they attempted in that ball game. Yeah,
you know, these past couple nights past few nights for Smith County girls, they've played very, very well. Right. You know, they've rebounded. You know, they're not looking back. That's the thing I like about this team. They don't care about what's happened. As soon as that game's over, they're looking forward. They're looking to the next one, and they're going to keep that mentality. Looking forward, we're going to continue to look forward. And for the DeKalb County girls, sitting at 3-3 is not a bad spot to be in right now. Continue to work. Continue to improve and figure those things out that are working, your game flows and your sets, and keep going forward.
District 7 AAA girls scores. Upman beats Summit. Livingston Academy narrowly beats Clark Range by 1. White County, a big win over Van Buren County, and Upman over Oakland. Looking at the DeKalb boys scores, Sonic Carthage bringing you those. DeKalb beats Watertown 59-43, battle of, I guess you'd say, Highway 70 there. And DeKalb County gets the win in Carthage on Tuesday night, 59-49. They're 3-4. They started out 0-4, but Joey Agee's teams have won 3 in a row.
Yeah, you know, they're making the tour around our different DTC schools. They beat Cannon County, was the first one of those 3, before picking up the wins at Watertown and Smith County. So they could get Gordonsville mixed in there. They could make the run and make a road trip against all of them.
Let's go ahead and look at some more District 7 AAA boys scores. Sonic Carthage bringing those. Upperman over Summit, a 2. Livingston Big over Clark Range. White County beats Van Buren County, and Upman over Oakland. Let's go ahead and look at more scores. First for the Owls. They have lost, unfortunately. I'm sorry, we're going to the girls first. Smith County beats Gordonsville. The girls have won 4 in a row after starting 2-4. They beat Gordonsville big at Gordonsville. They win in Clinton County, Kentucky behind Chloe Collins. It's 20 points. And then they return home and knock down 12 out of 22 threes to beat DeKalb 67-44. Let's go ahead and now look at the Watertown girls score. Sonic Carthage bring you those. DeKalb beats Watertown by 7, and then Watertown beats Lead Academy to square their record at 3-3 under head coach Jeff Keller. Looking at the District 5 AA girls scores, you've got Monterey over Scott High School out of Huntsville, Tennessee, up in, I guess you'd say right on nearly to the Kentucky border. That was 67-65. York beats Stone Memorial 56-41. Jackson County girls get the win over Gordonsville 60-41. I think Gordonsville had right at 30 turnovers in that ball game. And then York Institute beats Clay County 52-31. Anything jumps out at you there, Justin?
I'm really impressed by the start of Jackson County girls this year. They're one of those teams that was young and has had to develop some experience. They're starting off at 6-1. York is right where we expect them to be, playing very well. I know Reese Beatty, who's a junior there, I think she finally has closed her recruitment, at least for the time being. She's still a junior. She's committed to Clemson to play at the next level. They're probably the team to beat in 5AA, probably the one that have the target on their back more than any other that everybody's aiming to beat. But looking top to bottom in this district, I think this district is going to be a little bit more wide open. While I think most people still peg York to be the favorites, I think it may be a little bit closer throughout the season than a lot of people anticipate.
Of course, you got Monterey, you got Watertown, you got Smith County, and you got Jackson County, those other teams in there. But I'm like you, I think York's a slice above these other teams. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. First for the Owls of Smith County. I was trying to do that a minute ago. They get the 6-point win at Gordonsville after being down by 18. They go to Clinton County on Saturday night, run into a hot Cohen Davis, who had 24 for the Bulldogs. Clinton County, Kentucky is right north of Byrdstown, about 17 minutes. In Albany, Kentucky, Clinton County beats the Owls 63-50, and then they lose to DeKalb County 59-49 to fall to 2-7. But never fear, they've only got 7 days to wait, and they'll play in Smithville against DeKalb again.
Yeah, they didn't wait too long to come back. I'll tell you, when we were watching that game last night, Connor Close, you can tell he's put in some work in he was already an exceptional player, but he's definitely put some work in on his inside game, backing people down and doing some fadeaways out of the post. And I was pretty impressed with him, and I know he led the Tigers in scoring last night. But Smith County, I know it's 10 points. It was within single digits the entire game up until the very end when they were trying to close it and couldn't find the bottom of the basket there at the end of the game. 23
for Close, including a dunk there in the third quarter. Let's go ahead and look at the Watertown Purple Tiger boys scores. Sonic and Carthage bring you those. DeKalb beats Watertown 59-43, and then Lead Academy beats Watertown 64-59. We'll be talking with head coach Kevon Honeycutt a little bit later in the show. Now let's look at the 5AA boys scores. You've got Stone Memorial over York 59-56. Van Buren over Jackson County 66-63. Then York beats Clay County 70-60, and then Sunbright beats Monterey 59-56. So 4 very competitive games there, as 3 of those, Justin, were one possession.
Yeah, and I mean, again, that's where we're at in the season. These teams are fighting for victories and trying to make everything that they can as they prepare for the district schedule. Looking at this district too, again, same side kind of as the girls' side. Most people are going to peg the York boys to be there. York girls went to the state tournament last year. The York boys actually beat Watertown boys in the region championship last year, and I know that's actually Watertown opens play against them, and so they probably got that game marked on the schedule for when district play starts. But again, Upper Cumberland basketball, we talked about District 8AA again in a break between us. A lot of teams represented there from old District 8AA.
We'll have an interview with Cannon County's Ashley Campbell-Patrick when we return in our next segment on the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver, with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff & Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Justin Mauldin. We've got Ashley Patrick, the County Lionettes head coach. And Coach, first of all, welcome in.
Thank you. I'm glad y'all are having me today.
Your team's got off to a 6-3 start. Coach, there is no hiding the fact that you return a lot of experience. When you look at Jenna Bush, Nora Walkup, Evelyn Teeter, Addie King, Leah Prater, a lot of household names that we have seen that have some valuable experience for you.
Right. We do have 2 or 3 with lots of minutes from last year, but we also have 2 or 3 who have not hardly ever seen the floor before. So this is really Nora's first time getting minutes in varsity, and then we've got Molly Schwartz coming off the bench who didn't dress out in every game last year. She's one of our first couple subs with Liv Prater. And then we've got Abby Lynn Teeter, who also came off the bench for us last year, but she's got a little bit more experience than the others.
Coach, I know starting out so far, your 3 losses are to 3A and 4A schools. So far, the competition that you're playing at your level or below, you guys are excelling at. But how much does it mean, and what does it mean on the experience side to play some of these tougher schools, such as Lebanon and White County on your schedule to prepare for district play?
Right. So we did this a little bit last year where we tried to schedule some tougher competition, and that's to prepare us for when we hit that region play. As you saw last year, we had York in the region. So when you hit that region play, you need to be ready to play some competition. And we have pretty good competition in our district and with the other 2A schools that we play. But as everybody knows, the bigger A you get, the bigger and stronger players that you're going to play up against. And so that's why we try to schedule those games. And I feel like it makes us tougher. And it's good to see your kids realize that they can play with bigger and stronger kids. They just got to put their mind to it, and I think they've done that this year. And I hated to see us lose that Lebanon game because I thought that was a really winnable game. And then, of course, last night against Sparta, it was tied at halftime, and that was another winnable game for us. But we've just got to figure out a couple extra things to push us over the edge and help us get those wins on those nights.
Coach, when you look at your team, I know that you kind of ran into a buzzsaw in that region tournament, but I think getting prepared for that moment or that time that you're going to see, whether it be in the region quarterfinals or region semifinals or a championship game, I think playing these tougher teams definitely makes you better. Your record may not, reflect that, but I still feel like the tougher the competition, the more it sharpens your skills for postseason play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not here to pat my stats as a coach. I'm here to get my kids as far in the tournament as they can go so that they have those memories forever. I have those for myself. And so I think sometimes as a coach, you have to put yourself on the back burner and you have to do what you've got to do to prepare for those big games. And I'm really hoping that the beginning of the season gets us there when we get to the region play and we're a little bit more prepared for that game. Of course, in our region, we have different opponents this year, so a totally different matchup than what we'll be used to. So we don't know much about Loretto and Summertown, but hopefully by the time we get there, we'll be ready.
Coach, I noticed that you posted on social media what a full circle moment it was last night. For the second time this year, you guys played White County again, and you got to go up against your high school coach and Coach Dodgen. What was that moment like, and how was it being lined up opposite him on the sideline?
Well, I think it was pretty special because, I can still remember things that I learned while he was here, and it was also nice because that's really his biggest competition that he's played all year. If you look at Sparta's games so far, they've beat everybody by 25-plus points. So I'm sure it was also good for him to get back in Cannon County and see what Cannon County basketball looks like now. He's been out of Cannon County for so long. So I think it was good for both teams to come out here and compete, and I think it made both of our teams better.
Coach, when you look at that, I know, Coach Dodgen kind of carried on the tradition that Robert Harris, had established. And, when you look at the rich history and tradition of Cannon County girls basketball, even back, 40s, 50s, 60s, that was a very big heyday, I guess you could say. And that has really been restored at Cannon County, and it's got to be fun to be a part of because you hardly ever go in that gym that it's not a packed house.
Right. It's my favorite place to be ever, anywhere. And, I think back to when I played and I see the pictures of the crowd, and that was kind of what I was hoping that would come back to life when I took the job back over, is getting people back in here supporting, because this is one of our most successful programs here. But, when I took it over, they had only won 5 games in the previous season. So every year's gotten better, and we push a little harder every year, and that's where I want us to be. And it's hard to stay at the top, but that's what I'm expecting from our kids, and so far they've really adapted to that.
Talk about a little bit more of the home environment there. I'll just tell you, when we were planning our schedule this year, I had one of my crews who said, I'm glad I'm not going to Cannon County, and not because they didn't want to go there, but because they talk about how it's an issue. If we don't get there early enough, those stands are full, those stands are packed, and even when we're there, it's so tight, it's so crowded, there's so much noise and the atmosphere there. I know you've got extra seating for the students now, where the student section is, and both sides are always full. So how important is it for your girls and the boys to be a part of that atmosphere and to have that home crowd on their side, night in and night out?
Oh, it's wonderful. Anybody that's played sports know that when you've got the crowd there cheering for you and have your back, that it just makes the game so much more special. And it's crazy to me because, the past 2 home games that we've had, there's actually been a middle school game scheduled on that same night. And then you look in the crowd and it's still packed and you can't find a seat. So that just goes to tell you that, the next home game it'll be even more crowded. So it's really special, and I think people make a point to come out because they know that they're going to see our boys and girls side competing in every game.
Coach, when you look at your team, we're familiar with Bush and Teeter and King and, the different Alexander, the different ones that you have. Is there anybody that's maybe stepped up that you weren't expecting to get minutes that have done that? I mean, we remember the household names, and of course Walkup we didn't see that much, and maybe Swartz we didn't see that much, but still, is there anybody else that maybe has come in advance better than you maybe thought they would over the summer?
Yeah, I have a set of twins, Jalen and Braylon Taylor, that I honestly feel like I've not really called their name much unless we were ahead by quite a bit, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable with them. If I needed them in the game, then I think they would do a really good job at filling the role that I need them to fill, making hustle plays. Molly Schwartz is doing a great job for us this year. We've got 3 really strong guards out front, But if any of those pick up a couple fouls, I feel really comfortable in putting Molly in. She's shooting over 50% from the three-point line. And I'm really comfortable with Liv Prater being in there. She pulls the rebounds. She puts the ball in the hole. I think she went in at Sparta and had like 6 points in 2 minutes, and that's just by getting in the right spot at the right time and finishing the basket. So I have a few that have not been seen as much, but I am pretty comfortable with them if I ever need them, and they know that. And I've talked to Nora about her role this year. You know, she had a big shoes to fill in losing Bella Pelham last year. But last night, Nora really stepped into what I asked her to do last night. She had one of the best posts to guard in Celeste Reed at Sparta, and she shot her to, I think it was 8 points maybe last night. I can't remember what she had. Maybe that was the tall post player. But, you know, that's a hard post player to guard, especially if you don't have much experience. But I thought she did a really good job, and she's filling that role pretty well so far this year.
I know this Saturday you guys have an inaugural alumni game that you guys are playing at DeKalb County High School. I know that means that there's going to be some players taking the court for the first time in a long time, getting back to their old glory days and trying to step back on the court again. Tell us about how much fun that's going to be and the excitement surrounding that and what it's going to benefit for you guys at Cannon County and DeKalb County.
Yeah, that's always just pure entertainment, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. It's crazy how fast you lose your skill when it's been a few years, but it always is fun. And of course, you know, DeKalb's always been our rival, even outside of district. It's just a super fun environment to play at. And then as an alumni game, I feel like you can enjoy that even more because the game doesn't matter, you know. So I'll say it's kind of hard to pull some girls out of retirement to play, but we've got a few, and we're going to go up there and have a good time with that. And it'll be a great fundraiser for both schools.
Now, is Ashley Campbell, number 10, going to make an appearance?
She is not going to make an appearance.
Oh, Coach, come on. We need you.
I know, but we played Central Magnet that day, so it was tough scheduling because, you know, that was really the only date that they had available to host. And we also had a home game against Central Magnet that same day. So I feel like that did pull a little bit of who might have played in that game away because, you know, Taylor King's got a sister on the team. She probably will want to stay here and watch. And then I'm coaching. So it was just tough timing.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you visiting with us. I know you've got a tough schedule between now and Christmas, and then, of course, when you get to the first of the year, you've got your district play, and all of that's going to be different this year, seeing different teams. I'm still not used to you not being in there with Smith County, Watertown, and Westmoreland, and I'm sure in times in the future, I'll say that you're a District 5 AA you know, person in it, but you're not. So it's just something we've got to get used to. Best of luck.
Thank you, and same to y'all. Me and Matt Farrell have become pretty good friends, so we may be enemies Friday, but we'll help each other out after that.
That's great. Well, Coach Ashley Patrick has been our guest, and we'll have Watertown basketball coach Kevon Honeycutt on the boys' side when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the Box Score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Here with Coach Kevon, excuse me. All right, countdown to Coach Honeycutt interview in 3, 2, 1. Here with head coach Kevon Honeycutt of the Watertown Purple Tigers. And Coach, first of all, welcome in. Of course, I've got Justin Mauldin beside me. Now, Coach, I know you've been off to a tough start. And I attribute it to the freshman that's on the team, who's the principal's son, Devin Brown. He's got to be the one that's wreaking havoc so far. Is that right?
Devin plays hard. Devin being a freshman, and one thing that Devin does that a lot of our younger guys are starting to catch on to now is Devin does exactly what I tell him to do and how I tell him to do it. And he's not going to do any more. He's not going to do any less. He plays hard. So we're fortunate. Devin's going to be a good one as the years go on. And I think he's trending in the right direction. Hopefully we can have some freshmen follow his footsteps a little bit. So yeah, Devin's a blessing to have right now.
Coach, I know, speaking of freshmen and depth, you graduated 6 seniors last year. That's difficult to overcome, losing that amount of experience. You've got 1 returning senior. How important is it for these young guys to be able to get on the court? I know you're doing some things. You've been working through the off season, and I'll ask you another question about some of your prep work. But what does it mean for these guys to get on the court? I know early the start's not what you wanted it to be so far, but for them to get the experience now and to get those minutes, and how valuable is that?
Well, I mean, you go and look at our schedule. We played, 4A Wilson Central, 4A Page. We played a much improved DeKalb team that's a lot better than what they were last year. And we've got, in reality, I've got 1 kid returning that played significant minutes last year. And I say that because McConnell's back, our big kid from last year, but he missed an entire summer, so he's still having to get caught up right now. But for the most part, man, I'm playing, we got Dacio Carter. He's a sophomore, played, varsity minutes last year early on in the season, but never played any minutes that were truly meaningful in big-time games. But then we've also got, Marcus Reynolds, same guy from last year, played a couple minutes early in the year, and then as the year went on, his minutes kind of dwindled down. And, we're really trying to have to rely on some of our young guys. And, Peyton Laws is a kid that you guys never heard of last year, and Logan Hackett as well. And they're having to play significant minutes right now, and it shows. It shows our lack of experience in certain games this year. But man, our schedule's not been too kind to us. We played a Elite Academy team last night that's more athletic than any team we'll see all year, and but our young guys are getting experience. Man, that's what's important right now. I know our schedule. Our record is, I think we're 1-6. And we've not played a team that's been, considered an easy win for us. FC Boyd gave us trouble for some reason at the beginning of the game. I think it ended up being a 20-point win. And, but it comes with just, that seniority and that experience, man. And it's important right now that our guys are getting experience, especially before district play starts.
Coach, when you look, it's hard for me to talk to you without reflecting on last year. You threw every regular season district game just to where you could get in the tournament and upset everybody and go all the way to sub-state. Is that the plan again this year?
It's funny because I think, we talked about this the other day and was like, guys, maybe, we don't have to be playing our best basketball right now, and our guys know that. And for some reason, they're bought into it, you know. And then last night shows, you know, I think we got down 18 at one point and cut it to 2 or 4 last night, and you know, against a really, really good Elite Academy team. That's probably a team that, you know, potentially whoever wins our region will see in Sub-State. You know, and it's one of those things. I think our guys embrace that type of stuff. Not a lot of kids do, but I think our guys understand that, you know, the style of basketball that we play, you know, it's not going to win you a bunch of games in regular season, but it's going to help you develop and be ready to play your best basketball come tournament time. And, you know, we still don't run a lot of sets. You know, we run a motion offense, and we've got different looks out of it, different reads and reactions out of stuff. And our guys are starting to catch on to them now, and it's starting to show. And I think we're going to be ready a little earlier this year than what we were last year. But do I think it's something that I want to do year in, year out? I don't think that's going to be healthy for myself or anybody that's around me. But, you know, it comes back to, again, with, you know, the inexperience. You know, last year we had some guys that played a ton of varsity for us with Manny C. and Corey Smith. You know, and those guys, you know, they graduated too, and, you know, they were inexperienced, you know, didn't play any varsity. And it's the same thing we're doing now. We've got some inexperience. We've got some immaturity, essentially, that we're having to try to fix. And it's a tall task, but, you know, we won't be playing our best basketball in February and in March. And if it just so happens that we show up the same way we did last year, you know, I think we're just going to start to embrace the fact that, you know, hey, this might be who we are, and just roll with it and just see what we can do with it.
I know you guys worked extremely hard during the off season, and I know you had a lot of 6 a.m. Workouts with your breakfast club that you were doing. I'm assuming since the season started, have y'all cut back on that at all, or y'all still getting up at 6 a.m.?
Man, we still got some guys that come in, man, and it's you know, JJ Goodall is one of those kids. He's a gym rat, and he's never gonna stop going to the gym. We've done some stuff for him now that kind of makes him have to limit what he gets to do by himself outside of practice to try to, you know, manage his legs a little bit. But then we've got, you know, even Devin Brown's coming in 6 a.m., you know, 3 or 4 days a week. And that's hard as a freshman. But then you know, I come in the other day and, you know, we've got another freshman that come in named Aaron Roeder, and the kid doesn't really ever get to play in any games, you know, even JV games. But I think, you know, the fact that we've got a freshman getting in the building and setting a culture for, you know, hey, we want to work for to be really good. And, you know, I think it's kind of setting the tone for it. And our off-season stuff is brutal for some of our guys. And, you know, this year, you know, our football team made it to the playoffs and, you know, had a chance to win our game down the stretch against McMinn County. You know, and I think us, you know, you know, last night showed that our football guys are finally starting to get into basketball mode. They started making shots last night that they hadn't made all year. So I think we've got a chance right now, you know, considering how far we've went. Our off-season stuff has kind of prepared us for this, to kind of go on a little deeper run again. Our off-season stuff is brutal. Our guys are exhausted all the time. But for the most part, our 6 a.m.s, you know, it's open if they want to go. There's some times where I get there early, and I usually try to let the guys know. And even on our days off, you know, I let them know, hey, I'm going to the gym today. If you all want to try to get in here, you know, and they respond to that. I've got some guys that work hard, and I think that's a testament to, you know, the way how hard those guys worked last year. I think they're still trying to carry on, not necessarily the legacy that they left, but the mentality that they left as far as, you know, I'm going to try to outwork whoever I have to play.
Coach, when you look at Watertown, it's hard to not think about last year and think about your dynamic scorer in Trent Spradlin. Outstanding player for you. I know JJ Goodall has kind of stepped into that role this year of, you know, hey, when the chips are down and I need a bucket, here's a player I can go to. I know you like to have balance, but still the pressure, I guess you'd say, that Spradlin had on him night in and night out, and he handled it, I thought, because there was teams that beat him to death. And I say that because I saw you play in a lot of games besides the Smith County game. And I felt like that he kept his cool regardless. That's hard to do when you're getting bumped and knocked and beat like some of these prolific scorers are. And I'm not saying that bad about refs. I'm just saying it takes a special kid not to want to get back.
Yeah, and I think, and a lot of people, they look at our schedule and they, people are like, why have you played Wilson Central? Why have you played Page? And, why are you playing Lead Academy? And winning games during the regular season is fun and stuff, but, playing teams that are going to get you better is what it's about. Last night, man, I'll say this, the last 2 games, JJ has been phenomenal as far as doing everything. Playing defense, distributing the basketball, scoring it when we need him to. And JJ's had some games this year where he scored it in the high 30s. I think he scored 39 once already. He scored 36. I think he's had 20-plus twice, and I think last night he finished with 14 or 15, but distributed the ball very well last night. And it's a testament to all of our guys. Not just JJ. Last year we really depended on Trent because we had some younger guys that were, I would say inexperienced. And we still do now, but, JJ does a really good job with what he does, and we know what we're going to get out of JJ. And, it was the same thing from last year. We knew what we were going to get out of Trent Spradlin. We had to figure out a way to get something out of some of these other guys like JJ and KJ Wood and Corey Smith and all those guys that were a big part of our run come tourney. And I think that's the same thing now. We know we're going to get out of JJ, and Marcus Reynolds for the last 2 games has been phenomenal. He's had 16, and last night I think he had 22. And we've got some guys that are starting to step up and make shots. And I think that's the best thing about us this year compared to last year is once our guys start having confidence in our shot, we're going to be hard to stop because you got to guard all 5 of us. Chase McConnell being back makes a huge difference. He had a huge game last night. If I'm not mistaken, I think he had a double-double. And he's finally starting to get his basketball legs underneath him. So I think that's the best thing about this year's group compared to last year. Last year everybody keyed on Trent so much that it kind of almost felt as if our other guys weren't prepared to go play. And they were so worried about getting Trent involved. And, when we figured it out come tournament time and you had to guard everybody, it made us a lot better. And I think it's the same thing this year. I think we've got some kinks that we got to work out, and our schedule has, not been kind to us. And I think that's something that we'll have figured out right around the same time we did last year. JJ is going to be JJ. JJ's phenomenal. His work ethic is unparalleled to other kids. The kid, I have to, pretty much punish him and ground him from the gym is essentially what it's getting to now. And it's a good thing to have, but JJ also takes care of his body. He's mature. He takes ice baths, heating pads, all that stuff. He's super mature for his age, and it shows. And I think, JJ's got a chance to go play somewhere small. He's getting a little bit of interest every now and then, and we'll see how he does. But, JJ's going to be JJ, and we're fortunate to have him.
Well, Coach Kevon Honeycutt, we appreciate you visiting with us. Best of luck to you and the Purple Tigers.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
We'll have more when we return as we remind you you're watching the Box Score presented to you by Carthage Safeway.
Friendly, traditional banking at its best. It's what our customers have learned to expect at Citizens Bank, and we're always happy to deliver with plenty of options for personal and commercial checking accounts, as well as a variety of loan types. We can help you achieve your financial goals, all with a friendly hometown smile. Citizens Bank at 407 Main Street and 61 Dixon Springs Highway in Carthage, 70 Cookeville Highway in South Carthage, and 530 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
There are some services that you don't need every single day, but when you do, you need them fast. That's the kind of service that Roto-Rooter provides. Owned by the Watson family, Roto-Rooter is your next licensed trusted plumber with quick and dependable plumbing and drain service for those in DeKalb, Smith, and White counties. They can do it all and on your schedule. So go ahead and call the plumbing and drain experts of Roto-Rooter today. 615-215-7686.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Justin Mauldin along with Terry Collins, and we've got some upcoming area basketball games, and we want to thank first of all our fine sponsors. We know that without them, Justin, we wouldn't have this opportunity.
Yeah, no, we appreciate them. We appreciate the support that they give us and help us be able to bring you this coverage and be able to bring this program to our viewers.
All right, let's look at the next game that we're going to cover, and that's going to be the Cannon County Lions and the Smith County Owls. Of course, that is not a district game now. That's hard to say because they have been in Smith County's district so long, Justin. But still, I look for two highly competitive games at Bill Landry Gym on Friday night.
Yeah, this may not be a district game, but these two teams are very familiar with each other. And, there's a long storied history between them. Coach Patrick, in the interview that we just had with her, said she was looking forward to this. She's become friends with Coach Farrell, though during the game they may not be friends. They may be frenemies during the game,
right.
As this battle takes place. But this will be a good one. If you can get out to Carthage and watch this game and take it in and enjoy it after the fact.
Huff and Puff Trucking bringing us that game. Let's go ahead and give the air times of when this game is going to replay. On Tuesday, December 12th at 7, on Monday, December 13th at 1 o'clock, on Thursday and Saturday, December 14th and 16th at 7 p.m. And you can see that only on DTC 3. Let's go ahead and look at some upcoming games. We talked about the Lions and the Lionettes under Coach Nave and Coach Patrick. They'll travel to Smith County on Friday night. Then on Saturday night, Central Magnet comes in. Justin, that is a very good opponent. They have really improved. They were a member of Smith County's district back a few years ago, and it seems like both their girls and boys basketball teams are very tough opponents.
Yeah, no, I drove by Central Magnet a couple weekends ago and kind of thought, hey, remember seeing them play a little bit, but yeah, no, you're right. They have improved, and that may have been in years past. May have been a game that people would have looked at and, okay, we'll go ahead and scratch this one off and we'll look beyond that one, but you can't do that anymore against them.
Boyd Christian out of McMinnville is coming to Woodbury to play Cannon County. Let's go ahead and look at the DeKalb County games. They've got Warren County coming in, and that's always a big rivalry. Of course, McMinnville and Smithville, right up Highway 56 there. Close neighbors, and regardless of sport, they've developed quite a rivalry through the years, regardless of where they're playing at or what sport they're playing.
Yeah, they've opened in football the past couple seasons against each other, and now they're doing basketball. Of course, you've got Danny Fish coming back in to Smithville, was the ladies coach there in DeKalb County, now the boys coach for the Pioneers in McMinnville, and so that that'll add a little something to it. But they always enjoy getting together. Those are the only two schools in those two counties. When they get together, they travel well and they play well.
Of course, Warren County does have Boyd Christian, which is a private school, but it's only a public school, of course. And then you've got Smith County, a week after playing them in Carthage, goes to DeKalb County.
Yeah, and we'll see how they rebound on that one. I know the DeKalb County girls are looking to shake things up, and I know Smith County boys probably gonna have a bitter taste in their mouth. They're probably gonna feel like they let that one get away. If they could have shot the ball just a little bit better, I know there was some poor shooting there. That game could have been a completely different story. So I expect them to come in with a chip on their shoulder for that one.
Smith County's 3 leading scorers in that game was 7 of 33 from the floor. That's only 21%, including 1 of 10 from threes. Those 3, and I won't mention who they are, if they've got to shoot better if they're going to win on the road in Yeah,
it doesn't matter who you are. I messaged their staff the other day and asked, hey, are y'all shooting around this mark for the season? And they said, yeah, it's probably right around in there. And I'm like, you got to do something, because it doesn't matter how well you play at any other facet. If you're not scoring and putting some points up and you can't find the bottom of the basket, you're going to have trouble.
Yeah, for sure. In football, you make and shut people out. You're not going to do that in basketball at all. Let's look at the upcoming Gordonsville games for Coach Jake Dillard and Coach Bibb. They'll play on the road in Spencer at Van Buren County. They've played them for several years. That used to be in the same district, did Van Buren County, and it's always a tough place, a very vocal environment when Gordonsville goes up to Spencer.
Yeah, they they'll get to make the travel down Highway 111 there and go into an older place, but still a familiar place. To be able to battle them. But Van Buren County always is good competition. They're a smaller school too, and maybe oftentimes people take for granted their skill set, but that'll be a good one for them.
Of course, Westmoreland now in Charleston County's district in basketball. I think that's 6AA if I remember right, and Gordonsville will travel to play them. Looking at the upcoming Smith County games, of course the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports is Cannon at Smith County on Friday night. And then next Tuesday night, as we mentioned, Smith will be traveling up to DeKalb. Let's go ahead and look at the Watertown games. Only one game, Watertown at Red Boiling. Of course, I know a lot of schools, Justin, have finals going on before the Christmas break. Not sure if that played into this or not, but still, academics is the reason we're here. Yes, we love sports, but still, it makes it tough if you got a game the night before and then maybe you got a couple of finals the next day. That makes it really tough.
Yeah, academics does come first for kids, and sometimes it may be a little difficult to get your head in the books when you need to be studying, when maybe you want to be in the gym and to get out of the gym, and then it can be mentally draining too. You focus on your academics, your stress level gets up a little bit, your anxiety gets up a little bit, you may not sleep as well, so you've got some other things that affect that play too. But sometimes though, you get on the court and that's a stress reliever. It's the complete opposite. That's where you want to be. That's your place, and that's your place to go to get away from everything.
Still a lot of players are battling sinuses. I noticed last night more than ever. Of course, being sitting right there on the floor, you see a lot of people coughing and like struggling for breath. And that's kind of hard when you're going at the breakneck speed that a lot of these players play at.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things that are going around now, and my kids are in school. Of course, I've got some younger kids, and we get those notes. Okay, we got this kid sick, and this kid's sick, and this kid's sick. And for me, when I see these players, I'm like, just how do they avoid it? How is it not more of an issue than it already is?
Let's go ahead and look at some area games that should be good ones. Upman traveling up to Salina to play Clay County. Of course, Upman two fine clubs again. Of course, they're at the 4A level, where Clay County is at the 1A level. Then you got Oakland at York. You got Red Boiling Springs at Jackson County. A quick trip there. Of course, Jackson County is 2A. Red Boiling Springs is 1A. Then you got Cookeville at York, which is developed in quite a rivalry, especially on the girls' side the last few years. And then Charleston County at Monterey.
Yeah, these teams are playing these bigger schools, but I guarantee you, as much as Clay County is going to be the underdog and they're going to be the smaller school, when you go in to Salina and you go to play there, they're not going to think that they're the underdog. It's not going to be on their mind at all.
Thanks so much to Nick Notes. And for Justin Mauldin, I'm Terry Collins. Good night on the Box Score.